Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. We're here with the round 2 AFL tips. What a first week of AFL it has been. The footy is back. It is amazing. I cannot believe it. Some amazing wins, some upsets to be fair. My tipping is already looking absolutely shocking. We're going to be going over that today. But before we do get into the tips, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe. 95% of you guys watching are not subscribed. If you guys aren't subscribed to me, it would mean a lot. We're on that road to 1,000 subscribers. We just hit 150. The last match vlog we did just went absolutely crazy. So thank you guys so much for the support on the last few videos. Yesterday, I made a 9 winners and losers video from round 1. Make sure you go check that out as well. Spent a lot of time on that, and I'd appreciate if you go watch it if you haven't already. And TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff is down below. Make sure you go follow the socials. Smash a like on the video and let's get straight into it. All right, so here we are with my round 1 tips. We won't spend too much time on it because they were absolutely woeful. But round 1, I was confident in Carlton were going to get the win, and they let me down in the final minutes. The final 2 minutes. Come on, Carlton. What are you doing? I was actually really happy that it looked like I was going to get this tip. I think most people went Richmond for this. I predicted 33 as well, so my margin is terrible. So yeah, Carlton, obviously I still got that right because it was a draw. So got let off the hook there. And then we obviously have the Friday night match. I was very confident in my boys to get it done on Friday night. What a game it was. Elite performance, one of our best performances in a long time. Geelong will bounce back next week though. Great game that was. First Saturday game we had North Melbourne versus Eagles. Another one that was so close to coming through. I thought surely West Coast get into gear. The experience side, the premiership, the finals, all that stuff. No, they let me down again though. Credit to North though, what a win that was. Harry Sheezel, Rising Star nomination. Nick Larkin kicked like 5 or 6 goals. Yeah, really good team performance by North, and it's looking like their year is going to be, have a few more positives that it did in 2022. Next game, we had Port Adelaide, taking on the Brisbane Lions. Another massive upset win here. Brisbane just did not show up. Looked like absolute tractors in that game. I mean, Port just ran all over them, midfield dominance, and honestly, it looks like they were, just having a training session. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but this truly did look like it was a training session. Port just aggressive, pressure, and just dominated really everywhere across the ground. I started watching this game. I think I watched the first 2 quarters, and I believe Brisbane actually had a lead at halftime, which was the surprising thing, and then Port just turned it around. So yeah, wrong tip there. Melbourne got the job done, pretty standard. They own Western Bulldogs at the moment there, so easy tippings. Sydney, they got it done as well. Easy over Gold Coast. Very disappointing from Gold Coast. Sunday, Adelaide looked like they were going to win this game. Again, another tip that could have gone my way. I mean, as they all could, but this one was looking like it was going to. And then, the Giants really reeled back the lead that the Adelaide had at 3/4 time, and they went ahead and just, won that last quarter there, getting the win. Sunday at 3:20, Essendon, I was sort of iffy 50-50 on this game, and I'm happy that Essendon, had some faith there and, got that win. So happy about that one because, yeah, really wasn't too sure on how that was going to turn out. First quarter as well, that was looking like a close one. And then Marvel, St Kilda here, St Kilda and Freo. Freo, just worst performance of the round by far. Shout out to St Kilda. I mean, that was a team-defining, performance with all the injuries they had. That was very, very. That's a statement win, to be honest, with the state that St Kilda's lists in and their injuries. So yeah, shout out to St Kilda for that win. Alrighty, so that does it for my round 1 tips. Let's get into round 2. And I really thought this round might have been a bit easier, but just looking at these games before I started this video, it really isn't getting much easier anytime soon. Make sure you guys put all your tips down below. Seriously, I need to know what you guys are doing because I feel like it's still one of those rounds where you get everyone doing different stuff, and that's what makes this really interesting. But yeah, I seen a stat the other day. Geelong haven't lost back-to-back games in 5 years, so I'm sorry, Carlton. I'm going Geelong. I'm going to back it. They're going to get it done by, we'll say, 5 goals there. Yeah, Geelong, they've got to bounce back. They didn't play terribly against us. By any means. So yeah, pretty confident that they're going to get that done. On the Friday night here, we have the Brisbane Lions taking on Melbourne. This is at the Gabba. Now, I know Brisbane, they're almost like flat track bullies when it comes to beating opponents at the Gabba. I'm not sure if they bet Melbourne at the Gabba last year, but honestly, you just can't go Brisbane here. They got smashed. by Port Adelaide did not show up. And on the other hand, Melbourne had an amazing performance and looked like, I mean, they really didn't even go out of third gear, or when they had to in that Bulldogs game. And when the Bulldogs looked like they were going to actually sort of take on Melbourne, Melbourne were just like, no, they clicked their fingers and they'd go up a few gears, and the Bulldogs just got left in the dust. So, yeah, going Melbourne with that one. Next up, we got the 1:45 game. First game of the Saturday. I'll be going to this, doing the match vlog, of course. And we got Collingwood taking on Port Adelaide. So, Port, I think this is going to be a fairly close game. It was last year, actually, to be honest, when Port were just absolutely rubbish. They made it a close game. I think we only bet them by 8 or so points last year at the MCG. So I do give them a little chance here. They are, quite heavily the underdogs in this one, going at $2.45. I am going to back my boys in, of course. But like this, I mean, we don't really know how Port are. Was it just a fluke last week? Was it more so because Brisbane just didn't show up? So we can't really read too much into Port Adelaide's form because, well, they didn't show anything to us last year. We obviously know that the Pies had a great year last year. They followed it up in round one. So for me personally, there's no reason not to back Collingwood. Obviously, upsets do happen. So if you're one that think this is going to be an upset game, let me know. But I don't see it being that way. But it's football, so who knows what's going to happen. Alrighty, now second game of the Saturday here, we have Adelaide taking on Richmond. This one for me screams upset. Like, I mean, Adelaide are going to be so hungry over losing against GWS. It's their first game at Adelaide Oval, their first home game for 2023. Personally, I see this one going down to the wire, being a close one. I think this might be an upset this run, and I'm actually going to go Adelaide, get this done in front of their fans. First home game. I think they're going to be way too hungry. I mean, they're one of those sides, Adelaide, that just don't bow out. They are so hard to, put the foot down and just kick them out of a game. They will keep coming back. I think they challenged Richmond last year, and then unfortunately, the young sort of side of Adelaide just didn't have the composure in the last quarter. It was one of the games last year. They were up, I think, 3/4 time. Richmond came out and win it. Richmond, on the other hand here, they're also going to want to show some of their fans, what they're actually capable of. Really disappointing performance last year, last round, after, what was probably regarded as one of the teams having a better off-season with the recruits they pick up, and just the general sort of feeling around their club. And I think, they're going to have something to prove as well, though I am going to back Adelaide here. I think this could be an upset. You've always got to pick one or two upsets. If you're not picking upsets, then are you really tipping, or are you just going with the favorites? So, Adelaide for that one, and I'm really hoping they come through here because I don't want to have another terrible round of tipping. All right, next up here is the 7:25 game at Marvel Stadium. This one I'm also feeling could be an upset game. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ballsy enough to tip them St Kilda against the Western Bulldogs. They really did impress me last game. People saying, it's a coaching masterclass by Ross Lyon, but it really does go to show what coaches can do, experienced coaches. They know how to play players. They know how to instruct a team. And it just goes to show, when St Kilda, had 10 or so of their best players, most of those being in their best 22, Tim Membry, Max King, Jack Billings, etc. The list goes on. And they still somehow pulled that win. Do I think they can beat the Western Bulldogs? I mean, the Western Bulldogs, they didn't have a great performance on Saturday either against Melbourne. I mean, they didn't show anything. It was the same old story against Melbourne. They have a sort of, tight first few quarters. It goes goal for a little bit, and then Melbourne just go bam, put the foot down and leave them in the dust. This one, again, screams an upset for me. I'm not sure if I'll change my tips here. I'm going to go Western Bulldogs for now. This might change depending on the team selection and whether St Kilda get any ins. I'm not sure if they've got any players coming back. But yeah, Western Bulldogs for now. All right, so we've got a double header here in terms of it actually being at the same time. We've also got a 7:30 game at Optus. Freo surely get this done. I know North did have a good last week, good round one, but I'm going to go Freo here. Come on, Freo. You've got to, if Freo lose this game, I mean, it's red flashing lights everywhere. The alarm bells are ringing. But yeah, surely that doesn't happen. And I'm going to say Freo get the win there. First home game in front of their fans for 2023. Alrighty, so first of the Sunday games here, we got Sydney taking on Hawthorn. And I think Sydney sort of come out and showed that, maybe they're not going to be affected by the grand final hangover, or more so specifically the grand final thrashing hangover, because that's a whole thing entirely. They did not look like they'd slowed down. They played a really good game against the Suns. It's the Suns as well, so you know, how much do you really take from that? We don't know where the Suns are going to be, but if we base it off last year, well, the Suns weren't too great. So Sydney, I think, you know, this is a pretty straightforward one here. Though Hawthorn are that side, it needs to be mentioned, they do come out and just get wins sometimes that you don't expect them to do. I mean, they bet Brisbane last year in that upset win. I think Brisbane, you know, had won a streak of games in a row. And they bet them down in Tasmania, though this is played at the SCG, and this is also the first home game for the Swans as well. So yeah, Swans gonna go for that one. Pretty confident they'll get that done as well. Next up here, we've got the Bombers taking on the Suns. This one as well, I think there's a tiny little upset, probably not as much, probably one of the more unlikely ones that have been upset here, but I could see it happening. I think Gold Coast, I don't know, Essendon fans tell me the Gold Coast sort of have a thing against you guys. Like, are they usually better? I don't know. I think last year, can't remember what happened. I'm not sure. I mean, what's the form guide here? We can have a look. So, yeah, Gold Coast. Okay, all right. So the form guide's not looking too good for Gold Coast. So lucky I did look at that. Round 18, 2022. Yeah, that's right. Okay, the Dons got it done by 55 points or whatever. I think that was actually when Sam Draper got his Goal of the Year award. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, all right, looking at that, we'll go Essendon. Why not? Alrighty, and that brings us to the last game of the round here at Optus Stadium. This one is an interesting one. I mean, this is probably one of the hardest to tip for the rounds. I mean, we've got West Coast Eagles, who, it has to be said, they didn't play terribly last week. I think West Coast fans will still be disappointed they lost to North Melbourne. Looking at where their list is at and the plays they have, they realistically should have bet North Melbourne from an experience point of view. But now they're coming up against a very hungry, and it has to be said, a Giants team with a lot of confidence after that win, and a bit of a comeback win as well against Adelaide, who looked like they were going to get the job done last week. This one, I'm not sure. I haven't thought about this before the video, so I could probably sit here for 10 or so minutes and contemplate my decision. Well, I think, honestly, it looked like GWS was sort of humming a little bit better in terms of, you know, their team, how they're playing together at the moment. This is a difficult one. Let me know what you guys are doing. I think for now, I'm actually going to go Giants in a bit of an upset win here. A little upset. I don't think this would be a massive upset because, you know, the Giants, they played pretty solid last week. West Coast, though, it's at Optus Stadium. It's in front of their fans. I backed them in last week, and they didn't do me right. They didn't get my tip right, so I'm sort of reluctant to tip them again because I was really hoping they'd tip North Melbourne, and I don't beat North Melbourne. I don't think I can tip them again unless they beat a team here like GWS. It's sort of a 50-50 match. I don't really have any faith in West Coast at the moment. I'm sorry, West Coast fans. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Giants here. And of course, Italian herbs and cheese. What are you guys doing if you're going malted rye? I don't think I've ever had malted rye at Subway. I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, Italian herbs and cheese all the way. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to go ahead and submit those tips for now. And that is what we've got. We've got Geelong, Melbourne, Collingwood, Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Freo, Sydney, Essendon, and the Giants. Let me know your tips down below. Make sure you guys smash a like on the video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe as well. Check out the socials down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye.